Why have real estate prices been kept artificially high for so long? Why has the central bank not reacted accordingly? There have been no policies implemented since before the financial crisis to act according to the fundamentals, unless we presume that the information that we have been provided isn't quite the truth. Well, you came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we're going to look at real estate prices in Canada. I also want to get into bankruptcies. Let's begin. Does the lack of bankruptcies in Canada mean that the Canadian consumer is doing better than most experts think? Well, much like the lack of mortgage defaults, the devil's in the details. So today we'll look at the Homeowners Bankruptcy Index, which of course is at an all-time low. Those in the financial mainstream media would purport that this is a good thing. But you and I, we like to look into the details, we like to know the truth, and so we'll do that today. When you see this Homeowners Bankruptcy Index, you can then use that information to tell other people the truth, because you can quickly search that online and provide the chart for that person. You can provide the information for that person and then give them a quick explanation, and that will give them something to think about. The truth is that there is an artificially low number of bankruptcies due to homeowners refinancing their debt and just slapping it on to their mortgages. So this is completely artificial, as they say, because it's a fraud. They are buying homes, but they have more debt than ever before. In fact, in Canada right now, people are literally in the most debt that they have ever been in history. So let me show you the chart which goes along with this. You can see that in the past couple years, this has really taken a nosedive. And like I said, you'll see it on CNBC and other news that would project this is a great thing. And if it was a natural event, then perhaps yes, that's the case, but it isn't. So let's get into the details right now. Decline is due to the rise in home prices. All of this information here, remember, I didn't write this, but it's going to sound a lot like me, okay? There's a very simple explanation. Canadians are using their homes like ATMs, withdrawing equity. Homeowners with significant unsecured debt are currently able to refinance this debt through a second mortgage or home equity line of credit. These are the two schemes that they're using. Many people do this. So if we take the general population of Canada, and let's just say they're rounded off to 30 million people, and you look at this, basically 2 million people are using a home equity line. And when you look at this, even more with a second mortgage. So just imagine the amount of people that are taking on much more than they can afford, and all of this is riding on the fact that real estate prices will continue to rise. And let's get into this before I trail off. Not exactly signs of booming incomes that would be the ideal reason to see the delinquencies decline. And that's exactly what I've talked about. They warn that any softening of the market that results in a correction of home values will result in a sudden spike in homeowners filing for insolvency. How many times have you heard me say that? And then how many times have you seen people in the comment section deny me? Whatever you want to believe, that's fine. I know you have a lot riding on the real estate market. I know that you have your livelihood all in this. I know that people that are simply can't afford it, that have put themselves out there hoping that real estate prices will continue to rise. They don't know that when you refinance, when you have to go out and get another mortgage because you've probably signed a 3-year or 5-year term, you're going to be in trouble. And I understand that's bad. I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. I'm just trying to bring you the truth. They go on to warn that if this combines with a modest rate rise, we could see this index rise above levels experienced after the 2009 recession. And of course it will. Canadians have been piling on record amounts of debt. I mentioned that. And it appears that they're looking for every possible way to delay paying it back. This is a big mistake. People don't realize this. But look, you've taken on this debt. Let's just use the mortgages as an example. You have this, you're able to pay for your mortgage, no problem, everything is fine. But interest rates are at historic lows right now. So unless you decide that you want to pay that off before that mortgage comes due in that 3 or 5 year term, you better figure out what you're going to do. Are you able to pay off that mortgage should interest rates double? Many people will say, they're not going to double. That's not going to happen. What if it happens? That's the question. I don't know what's going to happen. I can see that they want them to rise. Of course, if they do let them rise, we're going to be in for some serious trouble. That's all I know. The less equity in your home, the less likely you are to secure a good mortgage rate renewal terms. Worse terms mean higher rates, and that will definitely complicate your ability to pay your bills on time. That's exactly what I talk about consistently. Refinancing your mortgage to accommodate debt might work now, but it's going to be giving you a precarious position in the future. I'll move on. It's pretty clear to me anyway. So this is 3 charts in a row that basically get into the total Canadian loans secured against residential property. Just look. In 2016, 2017, it has skyrocketed. This should be scaring people, but instead, it's somehow used as a beneficial thing, as a good thing. And that's what really worries me. I mean, everything is just upside down. It doesn't make a single ounce of sense to me anymore. You can't do this. You can't take on more debt and expect it not to be a problem at some point in the future. See, if there was just a little bit of debt, let's say you had a credit card and you took on $1,000 of debt and you couldn't pay it back for whatever reason. I'm sure that something would happen, you could figure it out. Okay, it's $1,000, but a lot of these people are underwater. They will be underwater of hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's fine if you make millions of dollars a year or even hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but the average person doesn't. That's what I'm concerned about. So let me show you these other ones that are connected in with that very quickly here. Canadian loans against residential property on a monthly change. You can see that clearly going up, but I wanted to show you this here. On a 12-month change, we can see that this has spiked dramatically. Look at this. Just as things started to heat up, they accelerated even faster, much, much faster in terms of real estate prices, in terms of the amount of debt that people have taken on. No coincidence there, but what do? They don't care. They'll just take out a home equity loan. It's a simple matter of fact. They'll borrow more and more money, and people do not care. The banks are willing to give that to you because it allows the system to continue to expand. That's the way it works. You need more and more and more and more and more debt, and then everything keeps on spinning. As soon as that changes, we have a very big problem. So that's all for this video. If you found it informative, then I'd ask that you please give me a thumbs up. If you're from Canada, fellow Canadian here, please give me a thumbs up. And if you hate this image, give me a thumbs down, give me a thumbs up, you decide. So I just wanted to let you know that I like to do information of all different cities, countries around the world. If you're just tuning in right now, then I would ask you to subscribe to this because I will get into the different countries. I've covered various countries and cities from around the world and focused videos specific to those places. I happen to be from Toronto, but I think that this is a global show. I try to bring out information for everyone. This is an all-inclusive type of show, so please stay tuned for more. And if you found the video informative, I know you'll find my books, The Money GPS and my new release, Global Economic Collapse, even more informative. Take a look in the links in the description below where you can actually flip through these books for yourself. Take care.